There's a new drug sweeping the nation, leading to overdoses at epidemic levels. It's overwhelming ambulance crews and emergency rooms. Some medical and law enforcement officials said they believe the overdoses were largely caused by a synthetic drug called carfentanil. That's an animal tranquilizer used on livestock and elephants. You've probably heard of fentanyl by now. That's 50 times stronger than heroin. Well, carfentanil is as much as 100 times more potent than fentanyl. Experts said an amount smaller than a snowflake could kill a person. To learn more about this scary new drug is Dr. Michael Lowenstein. He's the medical director at the Weizmann Method and a leader in the opiate dependence field. Doctor, what exactly is carfentanil for those who aren't aware of it or have ever heard of it?
Carfentanil is an opioid medication such as heroin, methadone, morphine, but it's very, very potent. It's an analog, a synthetic analog of a synthetic opiate called fentanyl, which we've used in anesthesia and for chronic pain management and cancer pain management for many years. But the carfentanil is 1,000 times stronger than the fentanyl that's used for humans for the treatment of pain or for surgery. And it was designed to anesthetize very large animals like elephants. So it's very, very potent, and there's no human indication for it currently.
Wow. So where does something like this come from? You mentioned it's synthetic, so I imagine it's made in a lab somewhere. Are they getting it, where are they getting it from?
Well, carfentanil was originally designed back in the 70s to use in large animal for anesthesia, as I discussed. Currently, it's thought to be coming either through the internet from China or possibly through Mexico through the drug cartels.
Wow. So an amount the size of a snowflake could be lethal. Do people know that they're taking this?
Well, now that it's in the news, there's some knowledge of the fact it's there, but I believe it's being used to cut heroin because it is extremely potent. And because of the potency, you could take a gram of carfentanil and cut it 1,000 times and get many more doses. So it can be used for more doses, but they're largely unaware. And so someone who thinks he or she is using a gram of heroin, which they're accustomed to, just the smallest amount, like you said, a snowflake or two equivalent could be enough to cause overdose and death because of its enormous potency.
Wow. So carfentanil is an animal tranquilizer, as you mentioned. It's nicknamed elephant heroin. Are there any uses for it on humans?
No, it's currently has no human indication, and it's strictly used in veterinary medicine for large animals.
Now, when people take this, whether they know it or not, and they're going to more than likely overdose, is Narcan effective in treating carfentanil overdoses?
Narcan is usually the antidote used for overdoses for heroin and other opiates. The current dosages that are used for typical overdoses have not been affected by per the reports of first responders. Carfentanil has a higher potency and a longer duration of action. And so they're probably going to have to use much larger doses, or possibly the opiate antagonist naltrexone, which comes in higher milligram strengths and has a longer duration of action.
Is it addicting, or do users not even get to that point because they usually die before even being able to get addicted to it?
Well, the addictive part of opiates comes largely from the euphoria that's produced by the opiates. So the more potent the opiate, the more potent the increase the dopamine release, which causes the euphoria. So it's potentially much more addictive. But the problem is, even with the smallest amount that can produce overdose and death, the guess is that people are going to overdose and die before it becomes an actual addiction issue.
Carfentanil has deadly consequences for those who take it, but it can also pose a threat to emergency workers. First responders and emergency room staff are being told to wear protective gloves and masks. That's because it's so potent, it can be dangerous to someone who simply touches or inhales it. Dr. Michael Lowenstein, thanks so much for shedding some light on this very dangerous drug.
Thank you very much.